we're here tonight to launch a book, not just any book. Tonight, we're giving people permission to heal honestly. So, thank you to all of you for joining. Tell us where you're joining from. If you're not camera shy, send us some hi, hello, comments, healing if you're here, so we know you're on this journey with us. Tonight, like I said, we're not just launching a book, we're here to heal. And you're going to hear a lot of stuff tonight, personal stories, why the book was written, personal experiences. You're going to also understand where mental health and faith conversations matter. You're also going to understand about the silence that people carry. This book was written proudly by a Liberian woman. And I say that with my full chest, by a Liberian woman. Y'all know when it comes to Liberian woman, my whole body can be differently. By a Liberian woman. When I'm telling you how educated and smart and intelligent Liberian women are, I don't be saying that lightly. So I'm honored, sis, to be here tonight to share this journey with you. I'm excited for you. We need all the healing we can get. We're all struggling in different aspects of our lives. And this book will do wonders for all of us who will make time to read it. So without further ado, we also have other people on the panel. I'm going to start from the lady all the way at the top, Cynthia, and then we're gonna come down to Jaja, to Robert, and then to Dr. Oretha, so that each of you can have a minute to introduce yourselves. Take it away.
Good evening. Excuse me. My name is Cynthia Andujar, and I am a mental health therapist. I've been in practice for a little bit over 4 years. I know Dr. William Meta Simmons seems like forever ago. She is amazing, and I'm proud to be here.
My turn?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
put on. Okay. Yeah, my name is my government name is Conan Mitchell. They call me Jaja in the community. Um my background is in behavioral health, mental health as well. I have I don't, to tell you the amount of years that I have in this field is just mind-boggling. But I'm truly blessed to be here. I've been knowing Dr. Simmons many years when I lived in Philly. I'm currently living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm currently working in this field as well as a mental health, working with in the school population, in the school setting with young populations and school age children. So yeah, so I haven't gotten a book yet because I was supposed to come to that book luncheon last weekend. I couldn't make it. However, when she called me this evening, I was like, yes, I'll come in, attend, and support any way that I can. But I am going to get my hands on that book. I'll be in Philly July 4th weekend for a major soccer tournament, which I run. So I'll be there. So yeah, so that's a little background about me. So I'm gonna be quiet and let everybody else do that thing. Right.
What he didn't add is he has definitely known me for 25 to 30 years. Like, so, he's like a big brother since I was, I don't know, 12 years old, So thank you for being on. We really appreciate you being here.
The man trying to hide age, you can't call the man age.
I knew you were gonna go there. I knew you were
All
gonna
right,
go
Robert, take it away.
My
Take it away,
time?
Robert.
Yeah, okay, good evening. My name is Deacon Robert here from the Philadelphia Church International. But I come from a different perspective of feet. I'm a professional truck driver. That will make the book very unique for everybody because people have a different status to be here, different professional. I'm a professional truck driver. I've been driving truck for almost 21 years. And when you're a truck driver, you need this book. You got a whole lot of stigma that you go through, what kind of hurt you go through. I'm here to support my sister. She's my sister. I call her sis, and also the daughter of our daughter Aaliyah. Thank you guys and join us. We're gonna have a wonderful night tonight.
Thank you, Robert.
And it's also worth maybe adding, I know I'm talking plenty, sorry, that Deacon Hill comes from like a faith-based perspective too. So that's we've got two, the first two are our therapists, and then we have our deacon. So coming from a church perspective and a trucking perspective as well. So
Perspective,
it's
yeah.
nice. Yeah, yeah.
Dr. Sylvie, Mrs. Burkle, you're talking, but we can't hear you.
You're muted.
Okay.
Am I muted? Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
hear
Good
you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rita Sugby Burkle. I am a nurse practitioner. I'm a nursing professor, and I am on this journey with healing without shame. So I'm very excited to be here today to support Dr. Simmons. This book is exciting, is vulnerable, is powerful, and I'm glad that I get to experience it. I have read the book, so I guess I'm one of those on here that have read the book, and I was in awe, and I started texting Win before it was even released, and I'm like, "Sure, this is my favorite quote. I love this book, and I'm glad that as a fellow Liberian woman, I'm here to represent and support my fellow Liberian doctor, and this is a conversation that we all need to have. And I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you so much.
All right. So welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're launching a book. I'm not gonna say the title. I'm gonna let Cynthia do us the honors because she breaking out with it because she just rubbing it in our faces. We will read the book. But we're here to celebrate and to launch a book and to say we're proud of you. And by introduction, my name is Nay Pennell. I run an event management company. I am an administrator. I am an MC. I get my Kobo shop. Basically, I'm multifaceted. You put me in one corner, I'm multiplying to different things. We make it happen, but I'm excited as a Liberian woman. We're able to stretch ourselves, or as women, to
You forgot
stretch ourselves.
You forgot.
I'm an author. You see, I like to, you know, you can't take yourself too serious, Elena. I'm an author. I wrote a book on marriage. It's called Building a Legacy of Love. And I am somebody who, like Orita said, I love. I run a podcast called Taboo Topics where I talk all things taboo. So I'm one of those people you don't want to follow if you don't like controversy, if you don't like to talk, if you're scared of confrontation. I can't be your friend because I live for it. I thrive in it. And so when it comes to healing, it's important for us. Like I said, this will be huge for our community because we are all struggling in different areas of our life. And sometimes we see healing as weakness. We see, like Orita said, healing without shame. We see it as weakness. We don't want to explain our journey because we think it's going to be used against us. So we're bottling a lot of things inside. We're Christian. We're supposed to fast and pray. And the Holy Spirit will annoy us. And the Lord will say yes. So even when God is saying no, we are upset, but we can't express ourselves. So this book, like I said, is an intersect. I went on the website or the power I read. Now you're talking. They intersect between Christianity and mental health. And that is what stands out for me because we feel like these two things can come together. But the woman who wrote the book will give us more details. I'm gonna ask Cynthia to do the introduction, official introduction of our guest of honor tonight. Take it away, Cynthia.
Thank you. Tonight, we gather to celebrate something beautiful and sacred as we witness the birth of something extraordinary. And I might get emotional because that's exactly what this moment is, a birth. Just as new life is brought forth through love, patience, sacrifice, perseverance, and unwavering faith, today we honor the incredible journey of a brilliant woman who has brought her vision, her voice, and her purpose into the world. This book is her creation, nurtured, protected, and carried with intention. And if you know her, then you know this is who she is. She births healing, she births transformation, she births hope in the lives of everyone she touches. I met Dr. Williametta Sweetie Simmons on an elevator while she was interviewing for a psychologist position at Temple University. And from that moment, there was something undeniable, an instant divine connection. those rare moments where your spirit recognizes someone before your mind can't even process it. That was us. And through the years, that connection didn't just remain, it grew stronger. We faced challenges, real life challenges, but through it all, our bond only deepened. That's what real love and real sisterhood is. It withstands, it strengthens, it evolves. The love that I have for Dr. William Meta Simmons is truly priceless. And today I stand here honored as her Puerto Rican BFF, as she calls me. Dr. William Meta Simmons is a psychologist. She's a businesswoman with her MBA. But beyond the titles, beyond the accolades, she is one of the most selfless, kind, and compassionate people I know. The same love, care, and dedication she pours into her clients, she pours into her life's work. And this book is no exception. Every page carries her heart, every word carries her purpose, every chapter carries her love. She doesn't just help people, she sees them. She holds space for them, she believes in them, sometimes before they even believe in themselves. And that to me is what makes today even more powerful. Today we are honoring a woman who gives life in her extraordinary way, in her own extraordinary way, through the wisdom, through her healing, through her compassion, and through her unwavering commitment to uplifting others. Dr. Simmons, I want you to hear me clearly. I'm so proud of you. Proud of everything you've accomplished, proud of the lives you've impacted, and proud of the woman you are. You give so much of yourself to others, and today we celebrate you. This moment, this milestone, this beautiful birth of purpose, passion, and promise. So, to everyone here, get ready. Get ready to be inspired. Get ready to be moved. Get ready to experience the love and brilliance that is Dr. William Meta Simmons. And to my sister, I love you always. Congratulations.
Aw, what a beautiful speech. I'm gonna cry. Thank you. Thank you. That's
I was crying.
beautiful. Oh.
That's a crowd of joy.
Okay. I want to clear my throat before I speak. I want to say welcome. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Everything you said on there is true. And I know Dr. Simmons or Sweetie, not today, I ain't not on knee. But I know that you're listening and I'm smiling over here. And welcome, Goma. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to give you 2 minutes later on to introduce.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
It says we're recording.
Don't you come back?
I'm good?
We're back.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I was saying I'm honored to be here to celebrate with you. And I know we haven't seen in person. Let me clear that. We've never met in person.
Mhm.
Yes, we've never met in person, but we connected in a way. There are just certain people you meet before you even physically meet them. You connect with them. And because I'm somebody who's a sapiosexual, anybody that loves anything knowledgeable and wanting to learn, I gravitate towards those people who exude confidence, people who show up in spaces and show that they want to be there, people who they're not selective on how you look, who you are. They don't care for that. That's who she is. And I'm honored that you picked certain women here tonight on this live. I see Goma smiling in the corner with her glasses. She's one of those women. So it's an honor to have you all here to.
I'm glad to be here.
You lost me again.
We did.
No, we
We're
don't.
here.
Okay. Good. Dr. Sobi is also here. These are women who may be older or may be younger, but you look at them and you see that we're going to get somewhere. We're going places. It's going to happen. So tonight, thank you for being here. Now we're going to give Goma 2 minutes to introduce herself. And then I'm going to bring you on so you can tell us about this vision, this birth, this whole idea, and how it started.
Mhm.
So Goma, take it away.
Right. Well, thank you, May. My name is Goma Kondi. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and also a clinical fellow with the American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. I am in private practice, seeing couples and working with the family system. I enjoy doing trauma work. That's what my specialty is. So I work on attachment and trauma, bonding and connecting between people. I am very excited to be on here. I'm celebrating Dr. Simmons because she is a Sampon. I'm saying Simmons. She is just so near and dear to my heart. I think everything that's been said about her is true. She is an exceptional woman. She is a true woman of God. I always say that about her because that's what I've experienced with her. I'm happy that she wrote this book, quite frankly. I think we need it. This is what you needed in the church setting, not only in the field of psychology, but also within the church. So I'm excited about the book. I think it is going to do great things in our community and beyond. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh.
All right, so Dr. Simmons, we're going to start with you. Tell us a little bit of who you are, and before you start crying, tell us what is the story behind this book?
You can see the tears are coming. The tears are coming. Well, first, my name is Dr. William Etta Simmons. Sampon Simmons for professional purposes, Sampon for legal and marital purposes. But I'm so honored to be here. Honestly, before I even get into it, so who am I? I'm a psychologist. I'm a minister. I'm a humanitarian, and now I can add author to my name, a podcaster. I just enjoy serving. That's wherever service needs to take place. That's my jam. I enjoy serving and uplifting people. That's just what brings me the utmost joy. Like if I can see someone else happy, I'm like, yes, something wonderful took place today. So that is me in a nutshell. Before I add anything else, I do just want to thank every single person that's on here because I, at the last minute, have been stalling. And then I realized, I don't know, it was like 4 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God, I have people in mind that I need to invite. And every single person that I reached out to said yes. And I was very intentional about the people that I invited on here. Cynthia, because we just connected right away 12, 15 years ago now, in an elevator of all places, right away. It's just like, we connected. Kona Jaja, because he's known me since I was a teenager. He's always been a big brother, always supportive. I look up to him and his passion for people. Deacon Hill, because he is one of the most kindest, humble human beings that I have encountered in my life. And he comes from a different perspective, in terms of like the church, but also, as he mentioned, he's a trucker. And sometimes those are individuals that don't get talked about, but they go through a lot. Imagine hours on the road, the kinds of thoughts that you entertain when things aren't going well, being away from your family, what that means. And then even the stigma that's associated with truck drivers. So there's a lot there. So very much intentional about inviting him. My big sis Goma, I reached out because she does trauma work and marriage and family therapy, and Cynthia knows that's 40% of my practice is marriage, is couples, and I love working with couples. Trauma is something that I'm passionate about. In fact, this book, part of the reason why the inception of the book came from a place of trauma, so it just made sense. Dr. Aretha, Love. They say her name is Love. Love is in her name. Nay was talking about some people that you just never met, but you just like connect with them. I absolutely just love her. And I promise you, she knows more about me than I know about myself. I will say that every time because she tells me things about myself. I'm like, I did that? When? What? So she's very kind, very humble, very determined. And the last time I said, when I was thanking her, I said, if you're the kind of person, if you're not serious about wanting to do something, do not tell Dr. Aretha because she will be on you, okay? And just don't tell her. If you're not sure you're going to do it, don't tell her, because she will drag you through the finish line. And she is, I can honestly say, one of the reasons why I was able to actually finish this book. And like, because she was just like, okay, well, you got to go ahead and then do it. What time? Start it now. Do it this day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's serious. Let me hurry up. So that's her, but you need a person like that in your life. Anyone would be blessed to have her. And then, our big sis, Nay, listen, I don't even know where to begin. I would just say it's your personality, it's your authenticity, it's your genuine, like, I just love a genuine person that just shows up as they are, and that's who you are. Brilliant, funny, engaging, knows how to tell a good storyteller, and so all of those things, like every day when I open my Facebook, I'm like, what my girls say today? Like, I'm locked in, just looking for the next thing to crack me up. And so the entire panel represents the various aspects of me that I enjoy. I'll just put it that way. It's a little selfish, but different attributes of people that I absolutely love. So thank you for accepting the invitation, and thank you for having me, Madam MC. Okay, here
Yes,
we are.
ma'am.
That's what I'm saying. I gotta say for now. The reason I wrote this book is because for the longest time, so I've been in private practice now for about 15 years, but been in the field for like 20, right? So being in private practice exposed me to a lot of different kinds of individuals. But in about 2019, 2020, I got a group of people. It seemed like almost everyone that came to me with church hurt. They had either left the church, they were considering leaving the church, they were going through a lot emotionally at home. So it's depression, it's anxiety, it's abuse at home. It's a lot of trauma that's showing up. And the theme that kept coming up repeatedly is, I'm too ashamed to talk about it in the church. And interestingly, a lot of them were also serving in the church. So there were your deacons, your elders, your ministers, your bishops, your pastors, and no one wanted to say anything. And because they had this fear, a deep fear of being misperceived, of being stigmatized, and they didn't want to come off as though there is something absolutely wrong with me. And of course, the final line to that is, if there's something wrong with me, then I'm disqualified from being a Christian. I'm disqualified from being a leader. I'm disqualified from being in the church, And that's why I decided, listen, I got to write this. I got to write something about this, because I need people to understand that, like, Jesus, is the kind of God, the kind of God that would meet us in our despair. He meets you where you are. Nothing you're going through disqualifies you from serving him. If you look at scripture from Genesis to Revelation, you'll see broken people. You'll see wounded people. You'll see people with anxiety. You'll see people with emotional wounds. And not once did Christ deny them. Instead, he restored their identity, and he said, come on to me. He said, I'll use you just as you are. So I really just wanted people to see themselves as being more than enough to be a believer, more than enough to be a Christian, more than enough to serve. But then I also wanted to give the church language, because to the church's defense, not that I want to defend the church too much, but I believe that sometimes the reason why the church doesn't quite know what to do with our soul wound, as I call it, like our emotional traumas, is because we don't have the language. We don't want to say the wrong thing. We don't fully understand it. We don't want to mislead someone. So instead, what do we say? Oh, pray about it. Well, the Lord won't give you more than you can handle. He gives his toughest battles to his,
Strongest soldiers.
his toughest soldiers. Girl, it could be worse. Just fast. Then we start telling people how we fasted for 21 days and everything was transformed. That's all well and good. And there is a place for prayer and there is a place for fasting. But what happens when when they go through their 21-day fast, and when they do all that praying and they do all that fasting, but their wound is still there? They're still depressed. They're still anxious. They're still grieving those miscarriages. They're still grieving the loss of their only child that was shot down. What happens then to that person eventually starts to isolate and they feel as though I'm defective in some way. So I want to give the church language for being present with people in their pain, but also give those who are suffering a space to breathe and know that like it's okay to go through all these things and you're not disqualified from it. I can talk plenty. So that's my layout. Of course, like there's my personal story, but we can get into that as well. Yeah.
Anybody want to say something before we go along? Anybody else wants to? For those of you who read the book, y'all said something. We read it. We can't really pinpoint. We want to tell lies to the audience.
Yeah, when I got the book and I read the first 2 chapters, but chapter 1 broke me down. I never knew that I was traumatized or had a stigma because of words. So I got to understand the effect. It broke me down. It broke me down. I got to understand the effect of the stigma that I carried for years. Without that understanding, but when I read the book, it showed me that this what happened because it revealed to me all of those negative aspects that I've been keeping within me. It revealed to me that I've been keeping within me, and I cried. I said, "Wow." I didn't know that. All I thought was this vanity. You got to be strong.
That no more thing.
Yeah, you got to be strong. But I knew deep within you, you are hurt. That what the book is important for everybody to get it. Get out the family. Read it on your dinner table. Just read chapter. You don't have to go through the whole book. If that one page you read today, read that page and you feel the pain that you're carrying, that you have to let it go. You have to let it go. The book is very powerful. I tell you.
Thank you, Robert, for sharing. Anybody else?
Yeah, Nate, let me ask Doc this question. Doc, you talked about when you were writing this book, it came to you in terms of some of the wounds that people face in the church. What were some of the barriers for you there in terms of connecting with them? We brought this book into like fruition for you. When you talk about trauma, they went through all of those experiences, and as you interviewed them, you talked to them. What were some things that you took from that were able to get you to write this book?
So the first thing that came to my mind, thank you so much for that question, because when you asked about barriers, the first thing I would say is trying to get through the barrier of mistrust or distrust. When a lot of times, the reason why people were ashamed to talk about their traumas in the church is because when they did tell someone, it was preached from the pulpit, or somebody else shared it in a leadership meeting, or even if it's not leadership, all of a sudden their story is the topic of discussion in the congregation amongst, little cliques and things along that line. So trust was easily broken there, right? So now here's someone coming from out in the street with broken trust, and they now have to trust me. So I had to build trust enough to say, your pain will not be misused here. This is a safe place where when we converse about certain things, you won't hear it on, I don't know, Facebook or Instagram or wherever. It won't be in your community, right? And so that was a major barrier. One is trust. The other is refraining from trying to come to the defense of the church. Because when you serve as a psychologist, that's me. I'm a psychologist, but I'm also a Christian, and I'm also a leader in my church. So there's something inside of me that wants to be like, well, maybe, and so dial back, because it's not about it's about the person in front of you right now. It's not about coming to the defense of the organization or the institute of the church, right? And kind of to a little tailspin off of that is not trying to use word, as in scripture in their moments, like, well, in Genesis chapter 2 verse whatever, and this is no, because right now they don't want anything to do with anything that has to do with the
Genesis.
Bible, with Genesis. They want to know nothing. All they want to know is, do you hear me? Do you understand that I carry a lot of emotional weight? I've been carrying it for these amount of years. And is this a safe place that I can let it out here? You know, that's it. Can you be present with me? Can you validate me? Can you empathize with my experience? That's what they wanted to know. Beyond that, that stuff had to come on their terms when they were ready for it. So those were some of the big barriers. Trust issues, not wanting to come to the defense of the church, and then also, not, trying to use scripture to justify any of their pain or their wound in any way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great question.
Cynthia, Dr. Sobi, any one of you want to speak on the book?
Yeah, I don't specifically have a question right now, but I'm gonna do thing that Ms. Goldman did to me, and it was I had to take it in for a moment. She had me read the foreword to my book when I interviewed with her, and it was I wrote it, I've read it, but sitting on her show and in front of an audience and reading it, it was a completely different experience. And the words that I wrote, and I was shaking as I read it, and I didn't think that was going to happen. So I'm going to do that to you.
Okay, so you're going to read my foreword?
No, you're going to read it. We're going to listen.
So here's what I will say though, because my foreword was written by a pastor, Pastor G. Thomas Dowie. So I can read do you want me to read the intro?
So that was my foreword because it was personal about me. For you, I want you to read chapter 1.
It's going to be my intro.
Your intro is personal to you?
My intro is personal. So she had me with that. For you, I'm going to go to your story. Yes.
My story is in my introduction.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And I'll read it. Oh my goodness. She just wants me to cry. It's not cool though, but it's cool. But we just going to make this work. So I will go ahead.
Now she's putting you through it. I think it's
exactly. It's the sisterhood. We got to do it.
Yeah.
So this is the intro. I always I preface this by saying, do your best to kind of sit in silence and kind of just absorb it. You don't need to do anything with it, but just to listen to it. This is something that is rather sensitive, and you may find yourself in some of the words, but you don't have to think about how to respond or anything like that. So I will bravely make my way through this intro and try not to cry. So introduction. I didn't tell anyone at church I was depressed. I thought if I prayed more or fasted more, it would go away, but it didn't. I was afraid they would judge me and think my faith wasn't strong enough. These are the words of a Christian who loved the Lord sincerely, but suffered silently. Sadly, they're not alone. For more than a decade, I have heard similar stories from people struggling with their mental health who felt afraid to speak up because of stigma in the church. I heard them as a psychologist. I heard them as a ministry leader, and eventually I heard them in my own life. Since childhood, church has always been my second home, where worship healed my soul and fellowship gave me purpose. By my 20s, I was deeply involved in ministry, serving on the worship team, teaching Sunday school, and leading Bible studies. I loved God wholeheartedly and wanted nothing more than to serve him with excellence. But behind the smile, my life began to fracture. It started with a phone call I would never forget. My mother's voice trembled as she told me my stepfather had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer that had metastasized throughout his body. He had been my protector, my confidant, my rock. Watching one of the strongest men I know grow weaker by the day broke something inside me. Not long after, another blow came, one that would completely unravel me. I returned home from a medical mission trip to discover my then husband's repeated infidelities. Betrayal layered itself on top of grief, and my world collapsed under the weight of compounded loss. Still, no one at church knew. I kept singing, I kept serving. I kept teaching about God's faithfulness while silently falling apart. Depression crept in slowly. Sleep became elusive. My appetite disappeared. Some days I could barely get out of bed, yet I forced myself to show up. Why didn't I speak up? Because somewhere along the way, I had been taught that strong Christians don't struggle with depression, that mental health challenges are spiritual weaknesses, and that joy and sorrow, faith and fear are not allowed to coexist. And so I suffered in silence. It wasn't until one night, alone on my bedroom floor, that I poured out my heart in prayer. I started, I started to ask God a barrage of questions. How could he love me and watch me go through so much pain without intervening? Does he even care about my pain? Does he even love me? Is he truly close to the brokenhearted, like his word says in Psalm 34:18? How is it that in my deepest despair, he felt distant? How could he remain silent at such a time as this? So after my slew of questions, I felt a sense of relief. A sense of peace overshadowed me. My prayer turned from audible wailing and lament to a whisper. I no longer demanded answers from God, and I simply asked that he see me. In that moment, the words of Matthew 12:20 came to my mind. A bruised reed he will not break. That moment marked the beginning of honesty and the beginning of healing. This book was born from that place. I did not heal alone. I want to say it plainly because this book is about exactly that, the kind of care that actually heals. I healed with the help of my pastor and his wife, who heard me, validated me, and supported me through the process. In a season when I was afraid that honesty would cost me community, they showed me that genuine pastoral care creates safety rather than taking it away. I healed with the support of my friend Cynthia, who's online right now, who took me into her home for 3 months and asked for nothing in return. In my moment of despair, when I called her to get me, she arrived from 30 minutes away in less than 10. I still reflect on that with warmth and now with a great deal of humor. Her greatest gift was not her home, it was that she never once pressured me to hurry my healing or get over my losses. She simply stayed. She offered to take me to church with her, and I went. That small, unhurried invitation back to community was more powerful than she may ever know. I healed with the help of my friends Onyx, Jetta, Nikki, and Yaye, who refused to let depression have its last word. They took me out to brunches, lunches, and dinners, not to fix me, not to counsel me, but simply to share some laughter and remind me that life still had warmth in it.
Mm.
What all these people had in common was their presence. They stayed. They didn't judge, condemn, or shame me. They handled me with Christ like compassion and grace. They attended to my physical, emotional, and spiritual needs, not as a compulsory act, but as an expression of love. These are examples of whole person, Christ driven care. A pastor and his wife who listened and validated, a friend who opened her home without condition, friends who showed up with laughter and refused to let isolation win. This is the kind of care this book is written to call the church toward. Not a program, not a posture, not a strategy, but a way of staying. In many churches, mental health remains a taboo topic, spoken of quietly, if at all. The silence has consequences. This silence has consequences. People suffer alone, leaders burn out, communities miss the call to bear one another's burden, and the body of Christ fractures under the weight of pain that was never meant to be carried in secret. Healing without shame is an invitation to sufferers and leaders alike to rediscover what it means to the body of Christ in a world grappling with mental anguish. This is not a book of perfect answers. It is a call to compassion, honesty, and courageous presence. These pages will take you through the roots of stigma, the theology of whole person care, the harm the church has sometimes caused, and the repair it is capable of, the example of Jesus, and the practical work of becoming communities where no one suffers in silence. Some chapters will feel like permission, some will feel like a mirror, a few may be difficult to read. All of them are written with you in mind. Whoever you are, as you hold this book, whether you are hurting, leading, healing, or somewhere in between, I want you to know something before you turn the first page. You do not have to have it all together to be here. This book was written in my bed of despair. It belongs to people who are still finding their way. My prayer is that by the time you reach the final page, you will feel not only seen and supported, but free from the weight of hiding, free from the weight of free toward the kind of honest, whole person healing that God always intended, and freed into community with others who are learning as you are to heal without shame. Thank you.
Wonderful. Um, wow. I don't know how you survive reading out our crying to you. Good job on that. When I read this introduction, I sat in my bed quietly for a while because there's so much vulnerability in that. You had to be brave to sit down and write this, and I'm sure you changed your mind so many times. Like, should this be in here? And maybe I shouldn't be this vulnerable. But it's that vulnerability that make us trust you. That I can listen to you. I can say I can see myself through her because we are in this space, especially on social media, where everybody's so afraid to be vulnerable. It's like this taboo. You have to have it all together. You have to be perfect. Everything, all the dot. You have to have all the your T crossed and all your I dotted. But life is imperfect, and especially for Christian, I like how you form this perfect relationship between mental health and the church that is not separate. And it's funny how Christians are so afraid to talk about mental health and depression and vulnerability and failures when the Bible is a book that's filled of failures. Most of the powerful prophets we have in the Bible, most of them are what we would consider damaged goods. God doesn't call the perfect; He called the imperfect and makes it perfect. So when I read this introduction, I said to myself, "Oh my God, I see her." That like I was seeing you through a different lens. As a woman has been divorced, and I'm very vocal about that. As a woman has been depressed, and I'm very vocal about that. I'm like, I see you because people think you have to have it all together to get out of bed and keep moving. It is not that you haven't had your challenges, it's the fact that you're able to rise through it, able to find that resilience. And one last thing I wanted to say, I like the fact that you talk about your support with Cynthia, your support from your friends and the church. You didn't say I ran straight to therapy. You kept it real, you know? As a psychologist, we would think the first place you would go is a therapist's office. But most time you don't even want to, as a Black woman, you don't even want to believe that you're depressed. As a Black woman, you're already punishing yourself for even being in that place because you know you should be stronger than this. You know you should be more resilient. You're the strong Black woman. So our circle are those pillars that we stand on for support in those moments. And I'm glad that you have Cynthia there for you to be your pillar, to be your foundation, to help you heal through that journey, and not judging you like, oh girl, you should have made better decisions, but just there in your moment of vulnerability. And I love that. And I hope who other people that are reading this book can see, everyone will experience it for themselves. But I like that you were so honest about that. You didn't try to sugarcoat it. And I'm like, yes, this is the conversation we need to be having. So number one, thank you for your honesty. Thank you for putting yourself out there. Thank you for letting us know that healing is possible, because you are an example of it. And again, it's a process. We will keep hitting different barriers and healing from it, and being open and being that representation and say, look at me, I'm an example. And even with my psychology degree, I do get depressed. It's not, no one is immune from it, but it's recognizing that there is a problem and taking steps to get back to your normal and build resilience. So thank you so much for this introduction. The moment I read that, I couldn't put the book down. I just kept on going. I'm like, she's going to talk about the church like that? Okay. Okay. But I love that you talk about the messiness and how we are so afraid, and I feel like that the church too is not, the church too is also part responsible, because sometimes they don't allow people to grieve in that despair, like God is going to take care of it, have faith, just pray about that and it will be okay. And I'm going to give a personal example. Right now, my mom is going through health challenges, and I've been really sad about it. And every time I reached out to my pastors and my church, they're like, give it to the Lord in prayer. Everything is going to be fine. You don't know that. Yeah. So when you say things like that, it makes people shut down, and they can't express how they're feeling. The Bible did not say we can't recognize our despair. The Bible did not say we can't grieve. The Bible said there's a time to be joyful and there's a time for mourning. All of these things are what makes us human. So we can just give a blank check and say, don't be sad. God is in control. God is in control, but God also gave us emotions, and it's okay to feel that and experience that emotion. So again, this book is stamped all over. I love that it's stamped from your professional side, you as an African woman, you as a Liberian woman, you as a minister in church. There's so many facets that you pour together and saying, this is how I live my life, and this is what I want you to see. Because there are some people that talk the talk but don't walk the walk, and you encompassed all of that. So thank you for giving us this book. I'm still turning to it moment to moment, and I need it right now in this season that I'm in. So I'm very grateful to you. And I had to come on here today when you reached out to me. I'm like, I got papers to write, I got papers to grade, but I'll be here. So I'm so grateful for the invitation and to be here with Sis Gomez and Nay and these two amazing gentlemen. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's I'm gonna stop now for other people to go, because I'll keep going on and on. So I'll just shut that right now.
Yeah, no, that was wonderful. I just want to mention something, because you talked about the vulnerability, and honestly, the intro was the hardest part for me to write. It really was. Most times when people see you, they just see your highlights, right? They see you as Dr. So-and-so, and you don't see yourself as that. You just see yourself as someone that's been thugging it through life for a long time. And honestly, I believe that my array of struggles have actually made me a better clinician, because I can come from a place of lived experience. And I can't tell you how many times in my practice I'll be in session and I'm talking to someone and I'm kind of walking them through, okay, I bet, you must have been feeling this. And they're like, how you know, girl? Were you there? That was my exact thought. That's exactly what and I'm like thinking to myself, if only you knew, man, I have walked in those shoes way too many times to count, but it gives you a level of empathy, a level of insight into the world of someone that's struggling, because you've lived it, So you are right. Doc, that intro was hard to write. I did change it a couple times. I was like, nope, don't put that one in there. And I was like, no, put it in there. You have to be brave. You have to be brave. And if I'm being honest, I think part of the reason why it was hard, it wasn't just because of the vulnerability per se, but it's because, and I shared this with Cynthia, when I was like in a lot of pain, I said, I failed. This is the first time that I felt like a failure. You know, I told you that Kona has known me forever, right? Whether it was track and field, I excelled. You know, I'm on billboards, I'm killing it. In college, I was an academic All-American from freshman year all the way to fourth year. Like everything I did was like excellent, excellent, excellent. And then I came to a place, I told myself I would never get married more than one time in my whole entire life. And then I got to that space, and to watch the marriage unfold the way that it did, I don't even know how to describe that feeling of you failed big time. And of course, the psychologist in me can analyze it. Of course, you didn't. I know that. But from an emotional space, I felt like I completely failed. Like, how is it that you were able to make all these other areas of your life work, but you couldn't make this piece work, you know? And to make matters worse, you know, you talked about that I didn't run to therapy. I remember I went into my, I went to couples counseling to try to save the marriage. And the lady kept saying, remember Cynthia, she kept saying, you're a psychologist, right? What do you think? Well, you would know this, right, Doc? What do you think? And I was just like, I'm not to run my session. Like, I am the patient. You want me to be a therapist inside of my patient session? That's not going to work, you know? And this is kind of a little bit, because I'm really active in my state organization. That's why it was even hard to find a therapist, to be honest with you, because then people just assume, they forget you're a person. Like, I think she was just looking to me for like expert opinion. And I'm like, I'm just a person, a wounded person trying to get some advice. And you're turning it to me to be like, guide her a session, please. And I'm like, I don't have anything to say. I don't know what to say. I'm just here. I just discovered this really, really insane thing. I just wounded and need to be like, you know, can you patch my emotional wound a little bit? That didn't end up working because of the fact that every session was like, your doc, what would you do? What do you think about it? And I'm like, I'm not here as a professional, ma'am. No, I'm not, you know, so that's all I'll say about that. So I'll let everyone else add whatever they need to add, but thank you, Doc, for that. Yeah.
Well, I'll speak a little bit on that. I remember when I read this part of the book. I just got my book today, but I did read that introduction. I was like so honored, right? Because I was like, I had no idea that, and I'm going to get emotional because I'm very emotional. I had no idea of that. Me opening up my home to her, because I genuinely love, I'm telling you, since that day in the elevator, we were like sisters, like, you know, at the hip. And I didn't know that, you know, me opening up my home to her meant like healed her. You know what I mean? It was part of her healing. And I just remember that, you know, I would go to my house, and then I would go in the room, and she, you know, she would just be in her room, and I got to make her laugh. And we would just laugh, you know, like I was like, I have to make her laugh. And it worked, you know, so, but I had no idea the level of healing that she was like experiencing then, you know what I mean? So I was so honored when she wrote, when I saw my name, I was like, oh my God, like I was so honored. And that just goes to show that kindness can go
a long way,
such a long way, right? And you have no idea how you touch these people.
Ooh,
so
speak to that.
Yeah. So I just got the book, and I will, believe me, I think I'm gonna read it tonight. I'll finish it tonight. I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be a part of your healing, and I love you with all my heart, and much success, and you killed it. You got that.
Thank you so much. Listen, I just to add something about Cynthia, you know, sometimes when you stay in someone's house, and Cynthia, I'm like such a goal-oriented person. I walked in, I was like, I just need 3 months, because this person has completely like you know, Cynthia, every bank account that we had was used on splurging. He was like, hey, money. So we were in the negative all around. I did my calculation. I was like, I need 3 months and I'll be out of your hair. And she did it. She was like, girl, take as long as you want. Never asked for a penny, had her like our daughter was a teenager at the time, like her daughter was like, here you go, Miss Willie, you can have my room. So I had her room. The daughter slept with her. And then she would just come, and there was no pressure. I'll just put it that way. You know how sometimes you're in somebody's space, you feel so uncomfortable, like, oh my God, I can't wait. Oh, am I in the way? I never felt like I was in the way. She never once frowned. She would come and just be randomly cleaning stuff around, like just like putting things where it should be. But that's presence. That's what it looks like. Not saying, oh, what the room look like, because I'm a neat freak. So something's wrong if you're just seeing stuff on the floor, like because I won't be able to sleep if I left the microwave partially open. Like I was in session the other day and my microwave was partially open, and like my type A could not just allow me. I had to pause and going, can I'll be right with you. And I had to close the microwave. That's how much of I like neat things and order things. So if you know me, you would know something really wrong. Why is this like that? But never complain. She would just come, fold things up. Willie, you want some to drink, girl? Girl, I made some plantanos. You want some? Because I love plantains. Food and we go together. I don't care how stressed I am, I'm gonna eat. So, but just like that's what presence looks like. No pressure, no nothing. She just did it with ease. Yeah. That's all I'll say.
Come on.
Wow.
I see you shaking your head. Come on, take it away. Take it away.
Let me start by saying this. Thank you for allowing us to meet you. Because when you read that introduction, I felt, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm getting to know her, right? Bible talks about to know and be known. And it's one thing to say, I know her because I know her name, or I've seen her here, or I've talked to her here. But to know you in this way, all of your strengths, all of your weaknesses, all of your trials, all of your triumphs, I think, there's nothing more beautiful than that. And I really like the way you are addressing spiritual bypassing, because we do so much of that in church. Yeah. And what does that mean for those who are listening? It just means using our religion, our faith, to cover up our pain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? So instead of addressing the pain and saying, I'm hurt, or this thing really is breaking me down, we'll say, well, God is in control. Well, and I normally tell my family, I already know God is in control.
Yeah.
You don't have to remind me. I know that already. Right? So let's talk about the real issue here. So I'm so happy that you are addressing this issue of spiritual bypassing. And my prayer for your book is that pastors will read your book and use your book in churches, because that's really where we need this book, right? I can't say it enough. I was blessed to go to seminary, and all my pastor friends would tell you, I keep telling them, even if you don't do counseling, take a course, do something. Because it's so important to be able to understand that some of the pain that people come to church with, they're just real pain that Jesus himself felt.
Yes.
Right.
That's it.
Right? The anxiety that he experienced that had him calling his disciples to pray with him before going to the cross, is that kind of anxiety that makes us restless at night, where we can't sleep and we're tossing and turning. He already went through all of that. He modeled that for us. So the fact that we are still struggling in the church to even talk about that, to even know that the healing is in the feeling.
That's it. I love that.
Yeah.
Right. And that we keep avoiding the feeling, and we keep going all for it.
You already know.
I have
Speaking
a sermon on that.
Type A plus, she's a type A plus plus. The healing is in the feeling, girl.
Hallelujah. Let me just say amen.
And touch and say, hey man.
That's what, yeah, no, really, that's a whole sermon out there that I put out there on that, but it's true. The
Yeah.
healing is in the
Mhm.
healing. So
Yeah.
the fact that and that's what this book, though I haven't read it all, that's what this
Mhm.
book is really inviting us to do.
Yep.
It is
Yeah.
to feel so that we
Mhm.
can heal, right? And
Mhm.
truly heal, not to pretend, not to act like we're the only ones who are worshiping God and who know God, but to really put ourselves at the feet of God and say, help,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So I think it is so beautiful that you start with your own story, because it is not easy to tell our own stories.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you so
It
Yeah.
much.
it really is not easy. And
Mm.
and it's not like your story is one of beauty, right? It's one thing to say, well, I was married and I didn't like him and I got a divorce. No, no, it's one of, he really devastated my life. He
Yeah.
broke me into pieces. I had to do
Yeah.
XYZ. And so the fact that you're able to even share that,
Mhm.
all I kept thinking as you were reading was, she is showing young girls that pain and worship and healing and suffering can exist together,
Yeah.
Coexist. Yeah. They
Yep.
can coexist. Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I don't
So
think there's anything I don't think there's anything more powerful than that. So imagine how many young girls and boys who are going to read your book, who are struggling and thinking this is the end for me, but will read this book and say, oh no, it's not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She was worshiping and she was on the floor crying and she was doing all of these things at the same time. God can hold it all for us, and we can put it at the feet of God in true honesty. And that's what I'm getting from your book.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you
deep
so
dive,
much.
but yeah, so important. I think the book is very important because even in the Bible talk about a broken heart in the contract spirit. That so when your heart is broken, that's a mental problem.
Mhm.
Mm.
Even the Bible is there. Talk about your broken heart in the contract spirit. So that was the book. This book is important in the church because when you see the scripture and you read the book,
Mhm.
you see how powerful the book is. That God Himself gave you that inspiration to write. You didn't write the book because of the knowledge that you acquired. You read the book because of the inspiration that God put within you to heal the church.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To heal the church. It's the scripture that said, tell us the healing don't just come like that, it's come from God. So every word that's in the book is so powerful for healing. And
Mhm.
I would say this again, that without the education, but this book and the words he put into it, you took your time to write it, it's an inspiration from God Himself. Because Bible tell you a broken heart, a contrite spirit. That's when there's some mental problem in the Bible. People have mental problem. They didn't just pray. They went to other people, they counsel other people. Why would the king go to the prophet for the prophet to counsel them? They
Mhm.
didn't the prophet to counsel them. Why the king not
Yeah.
say, okay, well, just David would say, let me just go pray. No, but they called Samuel. Each time when he faced problem, he called Samuel. So Samuel was a counselor. He went to Samuel Lake and told Samuel whatsoever that was going with him.
That's right.
They are good with him. He calls Samuel. And Samuel will counsel him because Samuel was a leader. Samuel speak to God. So this book is from God Himself.
Mhm.
It's not your own knowledge, though. That it's for God Himself. I just want to say that. And thank you for writing the book. And thank you for listening to God to write the book. And thank you for being vulnerable.
Mhm.
You have a nice place you come from to write the book. So anybody that read the book, you touch them. I'm telling you, you touch them. That what everybody need this book. The churches need this book. Whether Christian, whatsoever you are, whatever your faith, whatsoever faith you have, you need this book to read it and see the pain that you keep then carrying. And just feel the healing without shame. And that means, now put all the shame away. And you got to talk it out.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we kill ourselves, we keep everything within us without expressing it. We got to talk it out.
Mhm.
Talk it out. Thank you for writing the book.
You're welcome.
Thank
I was
you.
with someone
Thank
the
you.
other day who said they lost their son and they stopped speaking for 1 year straight. 1 year. They didn't say a word,
Mm.
you know. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because you were talking about counsel, and Cisco Mom was talking about like just wounds, like, and sometimes you talked about the healing is in the feeling. When we go numb and we can't feel at all, something has really happened. Like, I know for myself, I get scared when I go quiet. Like, once I'm quiet now, I'm like, oh my God, something's about to break. We're gonna have to do something, right? I want to say this point really quickly, and I'll leave it to our I'll leave it to the astute panelists. What Cisco Goma said and what Deacon Hill said made me think about the foundation of, I believe it was in chapter 1, where I start by referencing Genesis 2:7, where it talks about how God created us. It says, then the Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed his breath into him, and the man became a living soul. And I always remind us that, like, we are tripartite, meaning we're made of, right, body, soul, and spirit. Our bodies is the stuff, our tissue, our bones, our, the stuff that Dr. Aretha deal with. Our soul is the seat of our emotions, our motivations, our intellect. What makes each of us on this line uniquely us is in our soul. That's the bridge between the spirit and the physical, right? And then there's our spirit. That's the part that communicates with the spiritual world. That's what communicates with God. The challenge in the church a lot of times is we focus so heavily on the spirit, we forget that there is a whole soul. And I like to remind people that, don't you know that a broken heart and a broken leg is felt in the same way? If you did an MRI of our head, you will see it lights up the same. If you see a brain scan, rather, you'll see that, like, same areas of our brain lights up when we're hurting emotionally than when we're hurting, like, oh, you don't broke my arm. Right. So what does that say? We are so intricately connected. There is an interconnection between our physical, our soul, and our spirit. But the challenge is, when we only work with one part, we completely ignore some very crucial part. And essentially what the church is saying is that God is a God that only cares about your spirit. And that's not true, because if that was the case, he wouldn't make us embodied spirits. He won't call us living souls. In fact, I think it's 3 John 2 2:7 or something like that. It says something along the lines of, he says, listen, I pray in every way that you may prosper and be in good health physically, even as your soul does prosper. So, and that's just one of many scriptures that talks about our soul. So why is it that in the church, especially the Pentecostal church, especially the Black church, we skip over the whole thing that has to do with emotions, with motivations, with feelings, with hurting? We just put it all in the pile of spirit. And what that does is it makes a multi-dimensional, unlimited God. It shrinks him into one dimension. It says, God, you know what? I know you made us, complex, interconnected, but never mind. We know best. You must have only made one part of us, and that is our spirit part. No, all of those things exist so that we can be able to attend to each aspect of ourselves, right? So I just want to highlight that, because we're talking about kind of like the soul stuff and the emotional piece and trauma. So, all right, I stop now.
Okay, Kona, take it away.
No, I just want to kind of like put everything from just my own perspective. First, I want to go to Dr. Aretha. I thought her piece on vulnerability and resilience, I thought that was powerful. But to be honestly, and I think the powerful healing started with an angel that God sent you, which was Cynthia, to be honest with you, because we live in a society today, in our villages today, where toxicity in terms of our connection with people is so on the surface, right? When people look like, well, I don't want to get cool with this person. Well, I don't like the other person. The fact that you're connected on the elevator, and she kept that. And then God, because we're talking about the spiritual part of it, brought her to to when you were going through your vulnerability and all of this. For me, that was the beginning of your powerful healing, and I agree with everybody else on this panel about that. So I just wanted to add that piece.
Yeah, absolutely. It sure was. Go ahead, Dot.
Yeah, I have a question.
Cool.
You titled the book "Healing Without Shame." Why was it important that you said shame, like using that phrase, healing without shame. Why did you think it was important that we recognize to heal without shame? Tell us what brought that to you, your experiences with shame.
Absolutely. Beautiful question. The word shame was so intentional because that word shame was one that kept coming up, and that's what kept people from wanting to be vulnerable and share their wounds and share their experiences. So when we think about shame, the simplest way to think about it is that shame is very much like a negative stigma that we've internalized. So for example, it's basically saying in the book I try to distinguish between guilt and shame. So I'll try to like summarize it really quickly. So a lot of times when we're feeling guilty, we feel guilty about something that we did, right? And we can separate ourselves from the event. Oh, I stole the $5 I saw on the floor. I knew it belonged to my mom, but I took it. That I feel guilty about that. Shame is when we have hung on to guilt for so long that it now becomes our identity. It's feeling as though we ourselves are wrong. Not that I did something wrong, but that I am wrong. I'm defective. I'm weak. So that's the mindset that people were walking around with. I'm broken, I'm defective, I'm weak. And that's what kept them from seeking the help that they needed. I think shame keeps us stuck. Shame keeps us in prison. Shame keeps us silent. Shame says you're not welcome here. You're not, your pain doesn't belong here. You need to just go somewhere else and deal with it. And I wanted people to heal without shame because listen, it's like, I think of shame almost as if it's like a suit we put on. And when I envision healing without shame, I envision, in the scripture it says David, he kind of like danced and ripped off, he danced so much that his clothes came off. In my mind's eye, I see like the garment of shame being thrown off so that you can be vulnerable and so that you can allow healing to take place. So shame is very much that thing that keeps us silent in prison and keeps us from getting the healing that we need. I just wanted us to break out of that mentality that, I too shame, something's so wrong with me that I'm not capable or even worthy of healing.
Okay. Y'all making it too serious now. Y'all making it too serious. Yeah. I can't, I don't want to do the one by myself, the feeling for the healing. I want to heal right now. Y'all making it too serious now. I ain't about to do that one now. Hey, y'all start laughing. What's that? I see everybody just wiping their face. I don't know, I can't holding it. But on a more serious note, I know you started by saying, I like Nay's a storyteller. I always tell people, I say people buy stories before they buy books.
Yeah.
People always buy stories before they buy books. And we're talking about healing, we're talking about shame. I remember I had this conversation with my daughter because now she's on TikTok. She's about to be 15. She's always strolling and she likes to look at the library comedy. So most of the library things she was sending to me, she measured me, she'll say, can't see yourself. The other day she showed me some video where the mom walked into the house and the mom said, what going on in the house here? Why your slipper here? Why your this here? That's the video she decided to show me. Apparently. And that's me. OCD me walk in, want my thing in an ordinary way, has to look the way I want it to look. Even my husband would joke all the time, say, no, nobody can clean equal to your mom. Nobody can do anything to me or approval. And we all laugh about it. But I'm saying that to say that, and I had to tell her, I say, she said, La Brimpo, you're joke. Oh my God, La Brimpo joke too much. I said, we've been through so much trauma that our humor is a way for us to dilute our trauma.
Yeah.
And La Brim, we take it for fun, but that is the reason. La Brimpo funny. They were so funny that they can take traumatic stuff and clown around with it, and you will laugh through your hurt.
Yeah.
I remember I was telling somebody the story the other day about during the war. It was October 1992. We ran for refuge to Capitol Bypass, and at night they used to throw the rockets. So we used to sit on the Kota Road. Still remember, we sit on the Kota Road at night. We're sleeping at day. And at night, we always sit on the road, parents, children, and we're waiting. And so
Yeah.
the rockets are coming. It's like this big, huge red fiery ball. And you will hear people yelling, "Hey, come here, hey, come here." And we will run. As it's coming towards you, we're running under it and praying that it will drop further down. And you're praying in your heart, it shouldn't drop on somebody else's. So the whole crowd, there's a whole crowd of people and we're running under that thing. So I was like, well, and I mentioned it. And the way I was explaining it, as usual, you know me in the story, I said, we'll be running. So people slip on with cough. So people will lose their cherry. So people will be holy ear. And my daughter was there, and then we were laughing. Now it's funny to laugh about it. When the people left, she said, I'm confused. How is that funny? How is that? Because they're growing up here. And it's funny. She's like, I'm confused. How is that funny? How is that funny? And then I had to explain to her, listen, Liberian people, your mom, one of the Liberian people who we use humor to combat trauma. I said, because if we sit down and we really explain some of the things that we went through with the kind of things that we know now. But yeah, people when I speak to no enter the one holy, I was just scared down when I speak to them. The pastor in the church tells us when you not after you're not going to heaven, you will not speak to them. The people enter in the church 1 minute, someone get to take up better than for another join women ministry to start praying for children. You will not speak to them. The list is endless. And we can list and go on. But I'm honored to sit on this live today because I'm one of those people who like to tell my story. I like to inspire people. I like to say, listen, if I get happy for Nate, get happy for anybody. We're regular people. And pointing to the Bible, sometimes I tell people when people are hurt and they're crying, or even myself when I'm hurt and I'm crying, somebody say, oh, it's okay. It will be okay. I can get back in my human state. I say, oh, Jesus. When I was growing up, who said so? Yeah, power, leave it together. Hearing. They show you cross. They said tomorrow they're going to get you on that cross. Jesus was weeping, blood was coming from your eye. That's simple me. Simple name. Now how she crying when I tell you, no, my brother, I beg you, let me weep. I need my own with the blood. You are giving chance. You will joke, laugh about it, but it is the truth.
Yes.
Don't add King Saul. King Saul had a own woman where he had to obey there to come play music to calm him all the way down so your Christian level could reduce. My people, they will ashamed and not joke. I tell people all the time, I say, I know how people can read the Bible, how they can read, how they can be reading the Osata. Because the kind of relationship me and Jesus guy is different. Because the way I see my Bible, I read it in the lowest of terms. And sometimes when I'm hurt or I'm going through something and we're having devotion and I'm talking about it with my kids, some of my children say, Mommy, we stay in prayer. I said, I'm here God talking so yeah, you can hear me. I said, when me and God get to, I don't do still not English for you. I'll appear. Understand? The Bible man say I can go quarter. Okay, enter Isa. You know, I don't get money. The man carry where I started money. When I want to get 1 hour linking, it might not try. You know, I'm not carry. It might not try. But the Lord said that you were talking. I said, I'm here, go. They come and begin to start. I said, let's pray. Holy Spirit, rest. They can't let's start. She will say, Mommy, please stop. I said, that's serious. But I'm saying it to say the whole healing will achieve. That is where it is. Because all of us as Christians, we look at stuff and we've been suffering in silence. Because I'm worried if I tell her what she will say, they know what are the big marriage people that don't get a problem with marriage. And I'm possible. They come on here with a marriage therapist. Come on, they can get there with a husband, they are home marriage therapist. People don't, because they don't want to see you as a person.
Right.
And a lot of times, especially in our community, that is where we are. And so I'm honored that in all of my, I know Dr. Berger reminded me that author. I mean, I walk into spaces and seriously, I think because I joke around so much, people gotta remind me sometimes who I am. My own was gonna say, "Ma, every now, relax yourself." And we laugh. I traveled to Minnesota the other day, and my friend likes to honor me. She likes to take me too serious. Because I don't take myself that serious. Like you mentioned, you know, we who like to serve and we're humble and regular people, we don't take life that serious. So she's telling everybody she has done her whole introduction before I got there. My friend is a celebrity. She's an international world MC. My friend wrote a whole book she author. We reached the place they call a late trial. The post said late trial. I say, oh, Prinky, I go and wash my hand. She said, friend, don't do that to you. Friend, coming to embarrass me. Friend, I tell the people you celebrity. Friend, don't wash your hand. Friend, don't do that. I said, celebrity, why can't you come? I said, my dear, please, man. You see me, I know that Beyonce were body guy. She said, friend, don't do that now. And we're laughing about it, but I feel like we all need to get back to that space of humility.
Yes. Yes.
To get to the humility space where you realize, Goma, you, Robert, Jaja, or Rita, we're all human beings. And we're all struggling with different things. And if we come together collectively, like the work we're doing tonight, like the work we're sharing, we're talking about stuff, we can learn from each other. We can laugh together. Cynthia, I want to thank you. I've never met you. You say you're a crier? Get ready to cry. I am honored to meet you tonight.
Right.
And I'm saying it because you represent what embodies the sisterhood. I'm saying it, I'm crying. You represent what sisterhood embodies. All are in sisterhood get shama. Sisterhood for you starts with capital S. And I mean what I'm saying. What you did for another sister. I know most times we say, we don't support each other. But what you did, without not knowing it, in all humility, just being a sister and a friend, I want to thank you. We need a lot of you out here.
Yes.
We need a lot of friends out here who would just hold space for us when we're broken. Because us who are strong, or us who laugh a lot, or us who joke a lot, people think we don't hurt. People think we got it all together. And that's why sometimes I come on this Facebook and I joke, I get serious, I laugh. We take out the wig care, we put it down, we cut the hair, we make it yellow, we leave it. I want people to be able to see different facets of real life. That we can move the makeup and people can see that this is me in all my glory. I can be whatever I want to be. I can be Kobo Shop ne, I can be author ne, I can be MC ne, I can be mom ne, I can be high mission spanner. There are different facets to people. I can struggle, I can be depressed. And like Rita said, we've all been there.
Right.
I came to America, I never knew what the word depression meant. I came to your country. And I told everybody I met, I said, why you been fooling us? Because when you take the picture there and post it in Africa, we think like, well, I got to get to America. And then you get here, you see it in real life, you be like, oh no, I don't know, let me say, I'm supposed to kind of supposed to do my life also.
Take me back.
Yes. But I'm saying that to say thank you for holding space for Willamette and everybody else out there. Men, I want to say this to the men on this life. Thank you for coming on. And when it comes to vulnerability, let's take the men out of the equation. They run from it. Because it's not your fault. It's something that was told you as a man, you got to be strong. You're not allowed to be vulnerable. Oh, he's a sissy. Oh, he's a punk. Even men who genuinely love on their wife, they say, oh, he betrayed the brother who. Oh, they want by a wife controlling him. It's like it's a wrong thing you're doing just to be vulnerable and just to show who you are. So thank you for making time tonight to be on, to show to other brothers that it is important. Thank you, Robert, for sharing that when you read the first chapter, you cried. When I heard you say that, it meant something totally different.
Right.
Because not a lot of people will admit that. We've been told, especially you are the boys, African boys, they told you to be strong. So to hear you say, I read it and I cried. What a matter, that book, that you said read that book, I'm saying it from a place because I wrote a book. I put it out there. Even my own book, when I take it Sunday and I read one chapter, I can say, "What I was thinking, I was writing the kind of thing like this." So you will get to that place. You're going to get to that place.
Beyond.
You're going to read it over and over. You're going to inspire. You're going to get to a place where get ready for it. God has a plan for you. This book was not written because everything that happened to this journey to get you to where you are to write that book, it was a process.
Yeah.
And that process is the reason why we're on this live tonight. Nothing happens for nothing. So I want to say thank you to all of you. I know we said we're going to be here 1 hour. We've been going.
I know.
For those of you who have been watching, just that part of the book that she read tells you that it is a good book.
Yeah.
Just that introduction alone will pique your interest. If you're somebody who likes to read and likes to know, it should pique your interest enough to want to know, to want to follow up. And a lot of us, like I said, we've been suffering in silence. We've been suffering, healing without shame. It's okay to heal. It's okay to be vulnerable. That's the whole idea of this book. As a Christian, it's okay to break down. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say, Papa, other way you doing my heart inside. I agree with it. I say it to you all the time. I say, I know what you're trying to teach me, but hurry up and teach me because the other lesson too hard to learn. Hurry up. I don't get it. Hurry up. I mean, me and he have those conversations. And that's what God likes. And that's the reason David is considered the apple of God's eye. Because David is the only man in the Bible who are brave to tell God, say, I'm not doing it that way. No, he's and that's why David is one of my favorite because he can say it raw and plain.
Yes, just as
God,
it is.
he will tell say, Papa, I fall down. I made a mistake. The poor were taking my spouse. Something happened there. But forgive me. I pick you back again. Yes, me, they lost. They didn't need a prayer. That me. Yeah. So that is the essence of the whole Christianity and mental health intersect. You will fall, you will break, stuff will happen, but you will come back and say, hello, I'm back. And as Christians, that's the place we need to keep finding ourselves. Stop thinking we're too holy to fall short of the glory of God, or thinking we already arrived. So people who are falling short, we leave them to where they are. And I tell people, I say the church is a hospital. I get cheek to somebody before, and they took it as a cheek, but it was me being real. They were trying to be funny to somebody, and I told them, I say, if you already righteous and your name in the book of life, you saw it written there, why you come to church Saturday or Sunday? Why are you here? Why do you gotta say that? I say that because that's how you're acting. You acting like I already told you part of the 144. Why you want number your name down? You saw it ready, so you confirm now. You think we are sinners. We all do have confirmation where we're going, but we are hanging by threads because you can be good today, you bad tomorrow.
That's true.
So it's that vulnerability I want us to remember as we sit in this space. I want you to explain anything about that book. The poor solo about that book, the finish introduction, they will buy it. The poor they who the book in for, they will not buy it. It's okay. But people who that book for, it will reach them. I will tell you what I've been telling almost all the librarian authors. When you write a book, that book will go to where it is supposed to go. I started Taboo Topics on Facebook. I had 2 people watch, 3 people watch, some day 7, some day 4. I mean, I was getting discouraged for a minute. I was losing hope. I told my husband, I said, I can't stop the whole thing. The people now watching. He asked me, he said, I just want to ask you, you doing it for people or you doing it because you say God give it to you, your spirit to do it? I said, but I'm doing it for people to watch so that they can change. He said, I didn't know that you can change people. No, the way my husband can talk, we joke around so much, and the way he can reach out to me, because I think he understands humor impacts me faster. So he says it in that way that there's no way I would touch the humor to not get it. He said, I didn't know you the one can change people, man. Also, you doing it now for yourself. I said, no. He said, but because I understood the reason you can be taking our family time is because you told me God put it on your heart and your spirit to do it. But if you're doing it because you want people to be watching or you're doing it for clout, then you must as well don't do it. I mean, I could be
Right.
having my family time, I could be calling with my wife. You sit down that live, you talk for hours. And I say, okay, she's doing it because it's a late calling, it's a purpose. But if saying going call you, you doing it for a purpose, you doing it for people to watch, then that will be laying I am, I will be doing different things instead of being on there. I said, no, I will go back to it. I will go back. I will go back. I will go back to doing it. I'm saying that to admonish you to say whatever each of us were doing, we're not doing it of ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Brother Robert said, you wrote that book is not of yourself. I never knew people, even me, I tell myself, I say, I don't know how I wrote a book. Because I sat down one night, listened to one podcast and typed 50 pages in the same night. I couldn't sleep. It just kept typing, kept going, kept going. So that's how it is with this writing of book and this whole thing. When God puts something in your spirit, I know you were talking about Orita led to trouble people. It torments you. You have to get it
Right.
out.
Yeah, you do. Yep.
You can have it on a computer and pretend to yourself. I would think about it. You're just wasting
It
your
won't
time.
leave you. Yes, it won't leave you alone. Yeah.
Nope.
Right.
So tonight is an honor to be here. I want to say thank you for having me, for making time. I have a flight to catch first thing in the morning, so I'm trying to get off, but I want to say thank you. The rest of you don't got to leave. You can be here, but if you want my advice, don't read anything from that book again. Read that book. Thank you for having me. My name is Snay, and thank you for having me on here. Please share the live. I was trying to check to see if it was on. I don't see it on Facebook.
Yeah,
So I don't know
that's
if
what
you shared it.
Yeah, it said
That's
live
what I was
waiting
told.
in broadcast. That's
No, it's
okay.
not. It's not
Okay.
live.
Yeah, once you're done, you can always broadcast it. Because that's why I kept going back and coming back in to see, because people kept texting me, where the live, we're missing out.
Yeah,
But it's okay. Once you save it, you can always share it and tag all of us. And we can share it on our different pages. But I feel like this, I'm glad that whoever pushed you to have this conversation, that you're having it. I'm glad the book was launched tonight. And I'm honored to have been part of this huge thing. It's not by accident that I'm here. I don't take it lightly. Now, of all the 5 million friends you have, you turn on Nay to be here tonight to be a part of this. So thank you. Nice meeting all of you. Let's stay
Thank
in
you.
touch. Let's connect. I'm on Facebook. I the storyteller on Facebook. Follow me. Send me a friend request. We will connect. Let's stay in touch. And thank you. God bless you. And do have a
God bless
Right.
lovely,
you too.
lovely night.
Yes.
God bless
Thank
you.
you. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
So I'll thank you so much, Nate. Thanks for being here. So I'll just give everyone an opportunity just to say something. We will make sure that it's so interesting because on my page it says it's live, but it's not. I got a lot of text messages saying it's not live. So I don't know what's going on. But we will be able to share it once we get off and all that good stuff anyway. So what I do want to give everyone an opportunity to have any last minute thoughts, anything they want to say about themselves. Even we have our sisters on here that are authors and podcasters and just anything you want to say about yourself, our sister, our brothers as well. And then if there are any last minute comments that you want to give to the people that took the time to watch or that will watch this afterwards, you can just take it away. So I don't know which direction we want to go with, but maybe we'll start with Sis Goma, and then we can do we'll do man, woman,
Okay.
woman.
Well, let's do that. Let's do man, woman. Let's go that way.
Man, we're on.
Yeah.
So man first?
I'm not gonna spend time.
woman first.
What happened?
He said
A man first or woman first?
woman first.
Woman first, woman, man.
Come on first.
So that's right. You see, Doc is like, don't get it twisted. Woman, man,
Come
woman,
on
man.
first.
Okay. All right. Well, that is funny. All right, let's go this way. Well, let's see. I'm not gonna take the time talking about myself. I think what I want to do is to really just spend the next few minutes encouraging people who are listening to actually read the book.
Yeah.
I want you all to share the book with your churches, your small groups, your pastors. And if you're in a church and the pastor hasn't read the book, then take the book, read it, and take it to your pastor, and suggest the book to your pastor. That's really what I want to encourage others to do. When you do share the book on the live on Facebook, tag us so that we can share with other people so that they can also get to read and follow. And I want to say thank you again. Thank you for allowing God to give you the courage and allowing your friends to motivate you and push you, Dr. Berko and others, to write this book, because the truth is it is needed in this space. And I know and I believe that this book will reach out and will heal millions of people, because it's needed. So God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sis Goma.
Yeah.
All right. Man.
Yeah, there we go.
Adam,
But we just want to tell God, thank you for the inspiration to write this book with His approval. Because I would say we know that our Lord was also vulnerable in the Garden of Gethsemane. That's why He asked the Father, he said, my man, this thing here, is that your will? Like, if it is not your will, that the thing pass over me. And it's because He become vulnerable. And He asked the one disciple, said, man, you can't even stay with me to pray with me, say, for even 3 hours. He found himself, you are vulnerable. So for you to heal, thank you for telling us that we have to be vulnerable. Because there is no vulnerability, you cannot heal from within. And this book, I always say, this book is resources for pastors, it's a resource for family, it's a resource for couples, it's a resource for everything. Your children, sit down, read the book to your children. So now you don't want to tell this to your children the scarf that on you, but just read a book to them. Read the book to our group chat rooms and everything. Just read a book. In your Bible study, just take the book and just read a book. Everybody, there's something there that's going to touch you. And when it touch you, there will be the change and there will be the healing in your life, in that organization, whatever prayer group that you're in. We say thank you one more, and God will continue to increase you in knowledge, that you will write more of this book that will heal people that are broken. Thank you. God bless you.
Man, thank you, Deacon Hill. We're gonna go with Cynthia, then we'll go Jaja, then Dr. Aretha. You'll close us out.
I want to say it's been an honor to be part of this panel. I had no idea how how our friendship really touched you in that way. I had no idea that by opening the door, my home, you will be that healed. So I'm humbled, so humbled. And I thank you for writing this book. I thank you for being the person that you are, the friend that you are, because just as much as I did for you, you have done for me. And I want to encourage you to just keep going, I am 100% recommending this book to my clients. I already sent a picture to one of my clients, because I do see people that have struggled or are struggling with church hurt. And so this is a perfect book for them. I will continue to promote your book. I'm so proud of you. I'm so godly proud of you. And I decree and declare that your life just continues to shine and that you continue to just grow and be successful in all areas of your life. So thank you for having me here. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege to meet each and every one of you, and I'm very humbled, and I thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So on my way from work today, I got a text message from you saying, "Hey, I would like to be to come to your panel." I was kind of nervous because I'm like, I hope she ain't invited me to come. I know I didn't make it to the book launch signing over. I said, I'll come. I'll make time, because regardless of what, at the end of the day, I just feel like it's always a calling, because sometimes for me, I'm more of a spiritual person, and I believe in the universe. So that's where a lot of my healing comes from. But for most of you who don't know me, I've been knowing her for a while, but I do a lot of things in the community in terms of working with young people, especially in the soccer space. So part of what I'm going to do is promote this book for young men. Because for me, I believe that that particular demographic is I mean, we are hurting, right? And they don't have that, they haven't built enough capacity to be able to express those stuff and heal. And I think that's another way, because when I heard about it, she told me about it, lunch, and I said, oh, so I'll be in Philly. You best believe I'm gonna have my copies. And also my daughter's she right now she in graduate school majoring in psychology. I think I talked to you, Doc, about you serving as a mentor. And the fact that I just thought for some reason I believe that it was a calling, because I wouldn't have met any of you tonight. Right. So now I'm here. I'm meeting not only the gentleman, Mr. Robert, but I have three besides Doc, like three fabulous like folks that in my field. So I'm like, I have to connect with y'all, right? Because for me, learning, I'm always learning. Just having that opportunity to learn is what I strive for. So I'm gonna definitely connect with you folks and pick your brain on whatever it is that we can do to continue to uplift the community in the village. That's what we're gonna do. So that, I mean, I couldn't thank you more, right? Because the fact that you have the courage, because sometimes we know what we want to do, but we don't have the courage. We're not brave enough. And the fact that you had that courage to write this book, I think it's so powerful, because when you talk about the church, mental health in the church, that's a major piece in our village. I mean, that we can have a whole conversation about this for the next 2 hours. So thank you for bringing that to light. And I think this book need to be sold. I mean, it should be a sellout in our community, because every day, every Sunday, I see people going to church and they are going through stuff, and they don't have that to talk about it, right? And they are hurting. And I think this book gonna open a lot of eyes for that. So thank you so much for having me here today. I just make sure you have my own coming, and I'm gonna buy a
Yeah.
few for my boys. I'm coming to, like I said, attend the soccer. I have a platform that we promote a lot of soccer activities. So I'm gonna have a lot of the guys over there. I'm promoting the soccer play. I know you're rooting for Nima Kante, but I know I'm gonna make sure that most of the kids can get to invite. Okay, so thank you, Cynthia. Your story in itself, like I said earlier, when Dr. Oretha said, I mean, to me, it's just that connection piece. Because and Robert, I'm glad you're here, because as men, we are also suffering in silence when it comes down to this, right? And I think that's a conversation that we need to continue. We just need to start the conversation, because it weighs on me heavily. And Doc knows that I try my best to do a lot of this stuff on social media, on my page a lot. But we need to have conversation like this on a platform like this, so young people can come out, because they are suffering as well. But let me stop there and say thank you so much. Thanks everybody for giving me an opportunity to come in, at least be part of this, and I appreciate y'all.
All right. All right, our unifier, tie it in.
I just want to say thank you for gathering us here today. I know it wasn't an accident that you selected this panel, and we are here to support you. A word of advice is I want you to always remember that it is not about you. There's a book called It's Not About You by Tom Britt. I want you to read that book, because you have been given an assignment to connect mental health and the church, and it's a big assignment. And you have to do the legwork. You have to preach that message. You have to counsel. It's gonna sound you're gonna sound it over and over and over again. There are times when you feel uncomfortable because you feel like I'm self-promoting. We don't like self-promoting. It's an uncomfortable space for us to self-promote, but this is not about you. Okay. This is an assignment, this is a purpose, and you have been chosen for this journey to talk about mental health, to normalize mental health and the church, and how the church can support. Because again, in our community, what's the one thing we have in common? The church. So if there's anywhere to start that conversation, it is the church, and this is your assignment. So whenever you try to get in your own way, remind yourself that this is my purpose, this is my calling, this is not about me, this is about my impact, this is about the greater impact. And I know you're already making that step, because when I got this text today, I'm like, Doc, don't really do spontaneous stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So
She has to plan it, right? Doc? She has to
Think
plan
and
it.
overplan and overthink.
I couldn't say no, because I'm like, this is a big step for her, because
Yes,
you will plan this thing like 2 months ahead of time. Okay.
yes,
Are like perfectionist. Okay. I'm like, this is last minute. That's
Mhm.
good, because
Mhm.
that's how you know that you're not thinking about you. You're thinking about your
right.
business. You're thinking about the impact. You're thinking about your audience. That I have a responsibility. I know better, because I know what church hurt feel like. I know what it's like to be down, even as knowledgeable as I am. I mean, you can tell people about the different neurotransmitters and how this one affect that one and that one, and even you in your moment of despair needed help. So
Yes.
you've been this, you live this, you're the perfect person to tell this story, to convey this in a way that your community will understand it. You have been given this assignment, so please don't get in your own way. This is not about you, this is about the community. So allow yourself to be of a servant. Allow yourself to promote, because we don't know what we don't know. You need allow yourself to be our savior,
Right.
so to speak. And I know what I'm saying, because that's a tough journey to be in. When when I was promoting Girl Raise Your Standard, I did not want to do it. Many days I was like, this is not me. I can go to work and make way more than I will sitting here and talking about this book, but it's not
Yeah.
about the money, it's about the purpose. Because
Yeah.
you've been there, you know what it means when you feel terrible about yourself, when you start having those limiting beliefs and you're in this dark space, and you know
Yeah.
what it's like when you finally crawl yourself out of that and you become this powerful person. You want that for everybody. You want everyone to cross to the other side. But
Mhm.
sometimes we get in the way. So it's not about you. I would text the book to you. It's a
Mhm.
short book,
I just
audible.
looked it up.
Listen to
Yeah.
it, like only, I think only an hour long.
Okay.
And allow yourself to go through this space and be of servant to us. Thank you so much. And I look forward to all the great things you're going to do. And to the rest of the panel, thank all of you. And to Sis Gorman, yes, that's another person you can,
Oh, yeah.
I'm very inspired by her, because she come on
Yeah.
social media and she
Yeah.
talks about things that no one wants to talk about. It's not gossip, so it's not fancy. People not running their
Yes.
face, consistent, and she know that she's been given this gift, because it is a gift. Some people don't like their job. It's amazing when you find alignment with the job that you do, right? You
Right.
embody that. It's no longer a work, it's a purpose. And she show us that every day. So I'm glad you picked her to be a panelist, because she's someone I really look up to. I'm like, I need to be more like her. I need to do more what she's doing. And
Right.
to embody that self-promotion. This is what I know. I'm going to put this out there because my community need it. Even if it don't sound fancy, my community need this. And that's that step you have taken. And I want you to honor it. I want you to reach out for help when you feel like I can't do this anymore, because this is big. This is beyond you. Okay, you are going to go to millions of churches. Your words are going to explore. You are immortal now. When you write a book, you're immortal. Like, people will be talking about this forever. It's gonna stay. Even when you're gone, your name is etched in history. So this is a big step you've taken, and you're gonna embody this role, and you're not gonna let yourself get in the way of it. Okay?
Yeah. Amen.
Congratulations, Dr. Osborne.
Madam Unifier, when she finished, I don't want to say anything else. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Because out here crying again, like we're going places. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. As I mentioned, the panelists were very intentional. I was intentional about each person that came here, because there's something in each of you that I absolutely value, love, and appreciate. So thank you for taking the time. It's 10 o'clock. We're supposed to be sleeping. I stay in this office. I got to go drive for another 30 minutes. And they say, well, when I eat after 8 o'clock, the hot whip can come on. I got to go drink water. I don't know how I'm going to survive tonight. I'm hungry.
Dr. Berger said we can have tea and milk. Right, Doc?
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. I'm like, I got milk to the house. I'll have some tea and milk. If can I choose small bread? Just not the whole thing, just a taste. You just one. I'm just gonna dip it in my milk and taste it.
That's for the night. It's not gonna hurt, Doc.
Yeah. I'll just do one dip and one bite. That's it. The rest will go in the trash. But I thank y'all so much, honestly, for being here. I want to, to the person that's listening to this, the book carries a lot of different stories that came through my practice about just different experiences people had. I don't want to go through. You have to get the book. There are so many stories with different people and their experiences there. But I just want the person that's listening to realize that there's no amount of pain that you're going through right now that disqualifies you somehow from being here. I can speak from a place of someone who once contemplated not being here. So you are valuable to somebody, even when you don't feel like it. You are deeply loved, even when you yourself don't even feel loved or don't think you're deserving of love, of being loved. So your wound, your pain, even if there's only one person in your entire life that you can bring that to, it's okay to bare naked, so to speak. Like just come to that person with it. Make sure that it's a trusting person. Make sure it's someone that makes you feel safe. I pray that you will pick up the book and read it. I genuinely believe that people can see themselves in different places in the book, whether you're a leader or an everyday person. You'll see yourself in the pages of the book one way or the other. And as the panelists rightfully stated, we all carry some kind of pain. Don't look at, we all got smiles on our face. I remember I went through my entire divorce with this same exact smile, and people would be like, oh, I just think I can remember. People were shocked. They didn't know they didn't know I went through a divorce. She knew because I was living with her for 3 months. She saw me cry, and I'll wake up and I'll cry again. And then when it was time to get up for work, I was up. I washed my face. I put my makeup on. I went and I was, hi everyone, how are you? Wonderful. Da, da, da. For all that time while going through so much pain, right? So don't let the face fool you. We all are carrying some deep stuff, and sometimes when we're going through certain situations in our lives, we feel as though we're the only ones going through it, and we look at other people's highlights and compare our lowlights to it. And that's such a difficult thing for us to do, because people will post their highlights. They're not posting their lowlights, And in this social media age, just know that everyone's carrying some scar, and it's okay to not be ashamed to share your scar. Pick up the book, learn some things from it. The final thing I want to say is that at the book launch, I actually had a number of my friends that are Muslim, a number of my friends that are atheists. The book is written from a Christian theology framework, but it is coming from a place of just the human experience. And so It's not necessarily just for Christians, it's for all of us that have been hurt, that have carried pain, and we had to perform for the group. It's just like we have to perform for work, we have to perform for our boss, we have to perform for our children, we have to perform for our husbands. But underneath all of that, we're going through so much and feeling disqualified, or feeling as though we don't belong, or feeling as though we're not enough. And whatever your faith background is, I believe that you can still benefit from the book, because it walks you through the human experience, and it tells you, how can you be present for people? And how can you expect other people to be present for you? So just kind of giving language to all of us to be intentional about being present in all of our pain. And so that's all I will leave you with. Again, thank you so much. I'm hoping and praying that this thing downloads, because we had such a wonderful experience. I'm kind of a little bit wishing that I just went on regular live with us and did this, but by God's grace, it will download just fine, and we will be able to share it. I will tag everybody that was on here, and all of our other friends too. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Have a good night.
God.
One milk
Appreciate
and
you.
one piece of bread. Bye, everyone.
All right. Okay, bye.